Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of the Empowerment Movement. My name is Michelle Finn. I am a special needs parent and empowerment coach, and I created this series to empower moms to step out of their comfort zone and to learn how to take care of themselves again. We are constantly fighting and advocating for our children that we forget about ourselves. And then we look down the road and we're like, oh my goodness, what happened to me? Where did I go? We're completely lost in the role of parent. So that's why I created this whole series. It is my passion to help other moms because I've been there. I have been in that place where I was just broken. I lived for my son. I advocated for my son. I took care of others around me, but I didn't know how to take care of myself. And so when I say I broke, I really broke. So as I said, it's my passion to help other special needs parents, but I especially work with moms. Through this series, what I would love for you to walk away with every single time you watch one of these episodes is I want you to feel empowered to go do something for yourself. I want you to get that fire lit under you again to say, this is not all that I am. I am more than just a mom. And I get it. Being a mom in general is hard work. Being a mom to a child with disability, especially a significant disability, is sometimes impossible. And it feels like you can't do anything else because your child needs so much of you, whether it's just their daily living needs or advocating or doctor's appointments or therapy appointments. Our lives start to revolve around our child as soon as that diagnosis happens, or as soon as we realize, hey, something's different here. We need some help. So I'm gonna just dive in. The first couple episodes, I'm gonna be quite honest, are probably gonna be a little rough. I still need to learn how to edit a little bit. And let's face it, I'm talking to a computer screen. So when you're speaking, sometimes for me, I love to speak to crowds. So I'm natural there. But when I don't have people looking at me, I'm like, oh, is anybody listening? So it's going to be a little awkward. I'm going to be honest with that. I'll get better as we go on. I do have a podcast called So This Is Holland, and I do that podcast with a fellow special needs mom, so it's easy to riff off her and be able to just go back and forth. It's a little more natural. But I'm going to dive in with my story, tell you why I'm so passionate about this, tell you what happened to make me change my life. So when my son was 15 years old, he had a grand mal seizure that broke both of his hips. The seizure lasted for 20 minutes, over 20 minutes. We hadn't been through a grand mal seizure in 11 years. I thought we were past this stage. And then for it to last so long, to be honest, I didn't think he was going to survive it. We had just moved into this new house. We weren't familiar with the area. 911, I called them, the ambulance came, and I had no idea where we were heading, what hospital we were going to. Well, we happened to go to one of the not so great hospitals in the area. And within being there for maybe 4 or 5 hours, they tried to discharge him. He had not woken up from the seizure yet. They tried to change him, and he was shaking in pain while he was still unconscious. They tried to discharge him, saying he was at baseline. So I had a fight. Now, we were from the area, the surrounding area, so we had a hospital that I had in mind. I fought to get him transferred, and we got him transferred. It took them several more days to say, they kept saying he was sore because of his muscles. His muscles were just sore. And I'm like, no, there's something really wrong here. So it took a couple days for them to actually listen to me. This entire time I stayed awake because they only gave him Tylenol. This poor child who couldn't straighten his legs and was shaking in pain, they only gave him Tylenol. So when they finally took him down for x-rays and then a CAT scan and realized, oh my God, this kid broke both of his hips. It had been, like I said, it had been days. Then he started getting a little bit better pain meds. He had also, because the seizure was so long, lost some of his cognitive functioning. So he had regressed a good bit over this entire time I was awake. And then it took them 2 days to get their crap together to operate on him. They walked into that hospital room and told me, like, he's probably going to have emergency surgery tonight. Stay tuned. We'll be back in. They never came back in. I had to have a nurse call one of the doctors at their home to find out what was happening. So once he finally had surgery, he was finally resting, comfortable, was on medication, had still that nice anesthesia glow going. So I was comfortable, like, he's going to sleep for a while. So I had the chair right next to his bed. I kicked the foot rest back and finally closed my eyes. Well, I woke up about 15 minutes later and I knew, you know, when you're sick and you get that glow when you first wake up, like, maybe I'm starting to feel better. And then it all like kind of sinks in. During that glow, luckily I realized something was wrong. So I hit the nurse call button. And I said, something is really wrong, not with my son, but with me. By the time the nurses got in, I was shaking, like convulsing almost. I wasn't seizing, but I just couldn't stop shaking badly. I was on the floor. I couldn't walk. I couldn't talk. They asked me to smile. I couldn't smile. I couldn't lift my hands over my head. They thought I was having a stroke. So over the intercom system, I heard a rapid response called for me over this 3-tiered hospital. They're all rushing in to get me. What ended up happening, I mean, my heart rate was 187 beats per minute. It was bad. And when I was down in the emergency room and I fell asleep again, my heart rate did it again. And they came in with like a whole crash cart ready to like resuscitate me. It was crazy scary. And I didn't know what was going on. And I thought I was dying. What ended up happening was my body had been in fight and flight for so long, advocating and fighting to make sure that he was okay, that my system just crashed. It couldn't take the relaxation. It didn't know how to relax. And then through this process of him healing and me taking care of him through this, I really started to break again. And I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And they told me this, I'm glad it was fibromyalgia, because the doctor said to me, fibromyalgia is like a Band-Aid label. They don't actually know what's going on with you, but they know it's something. And the doctor said to me, well, it's only going to get worse from here. You're never going to get better. And mom mode, because we know a lot when it comes to medical now. Like, how many times have you been in a hospital or a doctor's office where they'll look at you and go, oh, are you a nurse? Are you a doctor? Because we have so much knowledge. So when he said that, it was a great trigger for me. Like, wait a second, they don't know what causes fibromyalgia. And fibromyalgia can be different in everybody. But they're telling me I'm never going to get better. I'm only going to get worse. How do they know that? So I started making myself a priority. I hadn't done that in 15 years. I had not even tried to make myself a priority. And when people would tell me to do it, I would look at them and go, yeah, okay, step in my shoes and tell me how that's going to happen. So I didn't know what that looked like, but I decided to go to the gym and I decided to take a yoga class. And the yoga class, I hated it. I am now a yoga teacher, and I always make a joke that I am a yoga teacher that absolutely hates yoga. I do. I hate the practice, the asanas, which is the movement of yoga. I hate it, but I love the relaxation and the stretch that I get from it at the end. Like, all that movement makes it worth it to me because my body feels peace. For me, with anxiety, that stretch, that pull, it calms my nervous system. So after this yoga, like, there's a position called Shavasana, which is where you lay on the mat and just close your eyes and you're done. I had not felt that much peace in my body for so long that I was like, oh, this is awesome. I go home, and you know how like the internet knows everything that you've done in your life. So the next day I open up Facebook and there's an ad on Facebook for a yoga teacher training. And I was like, I'm going to check this out. I don't think I can do it because it was local. Like, I don't think I can do this, but I'm going to check this out. So I met with the woman that ran the program, And I loved her. Like there was something so calm and peaceful about her soul. You know how sometimes you meet people and you just feel an instant connection? I immediately loved this woman and knew I wanted to work with her. But it was a 9-month program. I had to be gone on the weekends. I mean, I would come home at night. I never left Joshua like that, nor did I even think that I'd have backup for that. Somehow I made it happen, and I became a registered yoga and meditation teacher. And that program changed my life because when you go through yoga teacher training, it's not just about learning the movements of yoga. You deep dive. It is really a self-discovery. I was not prepared for what I was ready to learn, but it made me want more. And that's what I want from this program for you. I want you to realize that there is more out there, that you can be an amazing mom, take care of your children, but still have something for yourself because you deserve to have something for yourself. I don't want you to be like me, where your cup has run so empty that when you really need that energy, when you really need to fight, when you really need to be there, you can't because your body said enough. I will say, it didn't surprise me, but I didn't prepare it. When she asked the first night of yoga teacher training, the teacher said, "Why are you guys here?" So she went around the class, and this just spontaneously came out of my mouth without even thinking. I said, "I don't ever want another special needs parent to break the way that I did." And honest to God, since that night, this has been my mission in life. So after yoga teacher training, I went back to school and I became a certified health coach. I became a certified life coach. Then I went back and became a certified transformational coach. I want this so badly for parents. I also started doing research through these programs, the coaching programs that I was taking. They're like, research your clientele. What do they need? And honestly, for me, I can tell you as a special needs parent what I need, but we're all different, right? So I put a survey out there and I started meeting people online and saying, hey, can we have a Zoom conversation? And what I ended up finding out was this link between autoimmune diseases and special needs moms of older children. And it was significant. It is ongoing research. I have some doctors working with me on it now because it really was eye-opening how many of us get sick, how many of us are diagnosed with autoimmune diseases. And I want to help you avoid that. So that's what the empowerment movement is. And I know this is just a brief introduction of what this program is going to be, but through the program, I'm hoping to be able to have some of my clients come on so you can see what one-on-one coaching looks like for a special needs parent. I want to have, which I already have lined up, a couple of them, moms that are doing incredible things, not just in the special needs community, but for themselves. Like one of my friends that I really would love to come on, she is a truck driver. She is a special needs mom. She's a kick-ass mom, but she drives trucks for a living. Like, talk about thinking outside of the box. She's amazing. I have moms who have started schools, moms who have started agencies, moms that like have workout programs that they teach on their own, and moms that feel fulfilled and have more to give to their kids. I know firsthand, I know firsthand that taking care of myself has made me such a better mom. And I never thought that was possible. For a long time, I felt guilty, the idea of even thinking of doing something. What if I left my son with the wrong person? What if he didn't have the right programs? What if he was hurt? What if he felt neglected because I walked away? These were all things. What if somebody can't take care of him? What if somebody's here and they don't know how to take care of him? I have family members that are like, I don't know how to feed him. I don't know how to change him. How do you find that? I do not have a big support system. And for me, and this is what I want you to get out of this first video. For me, I started small. And you will see sometimes if you follow me on social media where I'm working out and my son is like right in my face, right? I give myself 30 minutes in the house to do something for me. If I can't have somebody take care of him, I'm going to set him up for success. Know that he's safe. I can still see him, but it's okay to walk away for 30 minutes and do something for me. That might look like meditating, reading. That could look like working on my business. That could look like working out. Whatever brings you peace, they're going to be good for 30 minutes. So I challenge you to start with 30 minutes to do something for yourself. The first step that I want you to take, and I want you to think about this, and we'll talk about it more in the next episode, like really dive into it. The first step that I want you to take, I want you to start to dream. I want you to start thinking outside of the box. I want you to set your first goal. What does that look like? Just a small goal. I don't want you to set this big goal like, I want to own this business and I want to make millions of dollars. Like, it starts with baby steps. Learning how to take care of yourself again is hard work. I'm not going to lie. I lost friends through this journey. It was hard work to get to where I am now. And it was work. But we can do that together. And I want you to feel that. And with some of the videos, one of my favorite things to do is meditate. So we'll meditate through some of the videos. Like I said, I'll have inspiring moms come on and talk. And even dads. Dads are kick-ass too. With my podcast, we've interviewed some dads and they're awesome, right? Like I said, I primarily work with moms because that's who I tend to attract. But so these guests will come on and you'll hear them, but you'll also see some of my coaching. You'll hear the stories that got me to where I am. I want you to feel empowered. I want you to know that you're not only a mom. And yes, mom is like an awesome title and only kind of limits it. Like, I get that. I get that terminology is like, what, only a mom? Do you know what I do? I know what you do. I see you and you are freaking amazing. But you are so amazing that you deserve a little bit for yourself too. And there is a way to get that. And I am living proof of that. So that is why I started the empowerment movement, and I hope it empowers you. I will see you next week with our next episode. Have a wonderful week.